Hello and welcome to the Daily Record in Conversation. I'm Scott Burns and today I'm joined by Anthony Evans. And the main topic of conversation today is our special guest, the Aberdeen Scottish Cup legend, Dimitar Mitov. Dimitar, thank you for joining us.
Hi guys, thanks for having me.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm well. Still settling in sunny Hamburg. It's been great first couple of days, so yeah, really excited.
Yeah, what's your first impressions of the city?
Oh, amazing, beautiful city. Going from Aberdeen to Hamburg, it's a big difference. It's a huge city, but listen, it's back in Europe, very similar to where I'm from. So no, really nice city.
You've not really had time to pause for breath because I think you were saying to me earlier in the week you had one training session and then you were on the bench on Friday night for the draw.
Yeah, it happened really quickly. I didn't expect it, to be honest, because my last training session, I didn't train for like a week. Obviously, did all the medical, everything was required before the transfer was finalized, and had a training session on a Thursday. And obviously, the manager wanted me to be involved with the team, to be around the lads, which was a great experience for me. You know, something very different. Things are done very different than what I'm used to. But that's what I like. That's what I wanted. Different things. So no, it was a great first couple of days for sure.
And the game at the weekend, how would you compare the sort of atmosphere in the stadium? Because obviously in Germany it's well known for the sort of ferocious
Yeah.
atmosphere from the fans in the stands.
No, very different because the team we played against, they actually knocked their stand, so they were missing a lot of fans. So they built in the stadium, but the difference, I think, there's a lot of ultras here. I think every team and pyros and fireworks are allowed everywhere. So no, very different atmosphere. It was a amazing experience for me to see. Very hot as well. It was very warm in the game. We had a hydration breaks, which was crazy. You know, you don't get that in Scotland. I know it was amazing experience and very unfortunate and very disappointing because we were 2-0 up, very comfortable in the game. We were cruising, and that's in football. We lost the momentum and they punished us. So no, yeah.
That's the thing with St Pauli. They have a big fan culture, don't they? Fanatical support.
Oh, incredible! I mean, I watched back the highlights from the first game of the season. Obviously, I've been showed videos of the fans, and it's incredible. Full stadium, 29,000 people each game, and they're very loud. It's I'm actually impressed how loud they are, and it's a very well supported club, very well followed club, and no, it's amazing.
And of course they've just been relegated from the Bundesliga, haven't they, after a couple of seasons there? So I guess that's the aim to get back in the top league.
Yeah, for sure. You know, speaking to everybody, you know, you're trying to gain as much information as you can before you join in a club, and that's the aim. Speaking to the manager, to the board, and that's what they want to do. They want to bounce straight back up. We have the players, they have the squad. You know, there's some amazing football players here, and yeah, we definitely got a chance. I'm not gonna say because I don't know much about the other teams, how good they are and stuff, but for what I've seen so far, I really hope that we have enough to be up there, and club like this should be up there. So that's definitely the target for the season.
Dimi, do you know any of the St Pauli squad? Did you know any of them before you arrived? And I believe there's a Scotsman
No.
there in young Scott Banks.
Yeah, Scott Bank. No, I didn't know anyone. It's usually, you know, when I move teams in England and stuff, you're always gonna know one or two players, you know, can have a conversation. But I'm coming to a completely different place. I don't know anyone. But that's good. But it's easy for me. I can fit in a team very. I've got a lot of friends already. We've been out for dinners. I play cards already with them on the bus. So it's it's easy for me. You know, I'm a person who can just blend into a team very quickly. Obviously, Scott Banks, speaking to him, he came through Dundee United. We also have Ricky Jones, who came from England. We've actually played against each other, but I don't remember. So you always, in football is such a small world. You're always gonna find somebody that knows somebody, and it's always to get a conversation going quite easy. So, but they've been very welcoming to me, so, which is good.
But there of course are a few players in the Aberdeen squad who played in Germany as well and have came from there. Did you speak to them at all before you made the move?
Yeah, of course. You're trying to gain as much information as you can. Obviously, the fresh example is Marius. I had a few conversations with him, you know, speaking about what's it like? And he said to me, the quality in German second Bundesliga is much bigger than you think, and you have to go there and experience. And he did say to me, like, if you have a chance, go, because it's a big football club. It's an amazing football club, and you go there and you perform well. You open so many doors for you, not just European doors. You know what I've always wanted. I've always wanted to test myself in Europe because I've always played in UK. And when this opportunity presented in front of me, I just couldn't say no, because, like I said, you know, being now international player, played in Europe, and now it was a chance for me to be one step closer to one of the best leagues in the world, because it only takes one promotion, you're in there with the big dogs. So yeah, it's definitely a place I want to be, and I want to challenge myself in a different leagues, and that's why I'm here.
Jimmy, in terms of Aberdeen, then I mean, the manager said I think it was over the summer, that he indicated that you wanted to look at things. When did you take the decision that it was time for a fresh challenge? Because you'd done the Scottish Premiership for 3 seasons, hadn't you, and achieved pretty much all you could.
Yeah, listen. By the way, I need to say the gaffer Stephen Robinson has been unbelievable with me. The way he's treated me, the way he's gone about everything, I cannot speak highly enough of the guy, because the amount of support and trust he's shown in me, I can't repay it. So obviously, when I signed for Aberdeen, I had 2 targets in my mind. I wanted to win a trophy. I wanted to play European group stages, and I did that in 1 season. And also the only thing left to achieve is winning the league. But let's be honest, it's very, very difficult to win the league. And I think Hearts going in last season so close, I don't think anyone will have a chance like this again. It's so hard, because people say the worst Celtic team in how many years, I don't know, but they still won a double. So that shows you how much ahead they are of everyone. And probably around January time, I knew I was leaving. I knew I had to leave. I needed to leave, because I don't want to go too much in there, but there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes I wasn't happy about. And I knew that I had to leave. And when Stephen Robinson took the job, I was very honest with him. I said, in the summer, I would like to leave. I want to find myself, in a different place, because even after the first season, I had opportunities to leave. I had a lot of clubs interested, but I told my agent I didn't want to leave. I was very, very happy in the club because of what we achieved and where the club was heading. But then things changed very quickly, and I made that decision. And the gaffer was really happy with it, and he understood, because I was very honest with him, and he was very honest with me. And yeah, came in the summer. We had a conversation. He said, I need to bring a goalkeeper. I need to, cover myself. And I said, that's absolutely fine with me. If you ever need me, I will play for you. I will play for the football club, because I have so much love and passion for this football club. And I will do everything, because I played through injury. I could have said no. I could have said I need to go get looked after myself. But it's not me. I can never do that. I wanted to help the team. I wanted to play my part. And I feel like I did that. And obviously, when the summer came, I had a lot of interest. There was different bids from different clubs, and he always said to me, "Wherever you want to go, I'll do everything I can to speak to the board and help you go." So no, he was amazing with me. And when the opportunity came with St Pauli, I wanted to take it, and the board was happy with the offer they got. So yeah, here we are.
Good. No, that shows respect on both sides, doesn't it? Because sometimes when you have a prize asset, clubs are reluctant to let them go, and you know what I mean. But it shows a respect from both sides for what you did for Aberdeen and what they did for you.
No, exactly, because they did so much for me. They've completely changed my career. Obviously, I became number 1 for my country. I played in Europe. I've won a major trophy, but I also think I've played a huge part into that. So I wanted the club to get as much money as possible. I wanted to be the best deal for both parties, because in football, it's not only about the player, but it's not only about the club. You always have to be both-sided. And the way the club went about it, I can't say anything bad, because we knew the situation. We knew coming back what was going to happen. It was just when it was going to happen. And I was okay with it. And the club have to cover themselves, which is absolutely fine. Every club will do that. And in the end, I was happy that happened. And I think the both parties got what they wanted.
Just on what you said earlier, you had lots of options. So why in the end did you choose St Pauli? Because like you said, you had other clubs in different countries as well that were after you.
Yeah, the chance of being in the Bundesliga, it's no secret, and I think it's a huge football club. Like I must have spoke for 7, 8 different people about the club, about the league, and every single person said exactly the same thing. Go. You need to go because you go there, you play, you do well. You only need one good season, and the exposure you gain second Bundesliga. Every game is on Sky Germany. It's amazing, and the facilities we have here, the team we have, the city, everything just fits. Everything is what I wanted, and having conversations with the clubs and their ambition, where they want to be, where I want to be, everything fits. Everything was just perfect for me, and that's why I wanted to take the challenge. It's very different to what I'm used to. The training is completely different than what I've been training. But again, I'm still very young in my opinion. I've got a lot to give and a lot to learn. It's a different style for a goalkeeper. So it's definitely something that I can improve. And I do believe I have another level in me. I can play in a higher level. So hopefully I can show that to the guys and be successful here.
Did the Aberdeen sporting director, Lutz Paffenstiel, did he give you a bit of an insight into
German
he did. Football as well?
Yeah, we obviously, that was the conversations we had with him. I was on the phone to him a lot, speaking to him, and he's been amazing with me. I cannot speak highly enough of the guy because, when there's honest conversations, you can trust people, and he was very honest with me. He was very honest with everything was going on, and he kept me into the loop. And yeah, he said to me, listen, it's amazing. It's a great club, great city, and everything so far that I've seen with my eyes is being backed up, which is good.
When you first came to Scotland, you came to Perth initially, that first season. Come back to that, how was that first season? Because it was obviously a superb season for yourself, and I think you picked up all the Player of the Season awards and everything else, top scorer award, everything.
No, that's the only one I didn't took. Yeah, I mean, it was probably one of the best seasons I've ever done individually. And I actually remember I was speaking to it did an incredible piece for me. That's probably the only time I've read the press about me.
Don't be saying that.
It did, because my sister actually sent it to me. One of the journalists that was covering St Johnstone games, he did a piece. It was the best individual campaign he's ever seen from a St Johnstone player, which I was blown away, of what he said. The St Johnstone move actually happened. It was Hinchy that did the move, because at the beginning I wasn't sure, because I had options to go to a championship club in England. The deal was on the table, and I was really in between. I didn't know what to do. And speaking to Hinchy, he just, oh wow, he's my best friend. He's not just my goalie coach. He's my best friend. Honestly, he was ringing me every single day, trying to convince me to come to Perth, because trying to promote the league. Obviously, the focus, Joe Hart and Jack Butland there, so there's going to be a lot of focus on the goalkeeper. And he did say, if you come here and you do well, you're gonna go to the next level. And I thought a lot about it, and actually, the team I was meant to got promoted to the Premier League, so I could have been a Premier League goalkeeper.
Oh, wow.
But look, listen, this is sometimes the challenge you need to take, the risk you need to take. People don't see that, and I took the chance to go to Perth, and also I was confident because I know how good of a goalkeeper I am, and if I'm being given the platform, I can perform. And obviously, Hinchy played a big part into me, so I went there, and it was. Honestly, I was loved by everybody there, from my teammates, from the staff to the fans, everyone in the club. It's just because of my performances, how well I did. And obviously, did this amazing season. And again, I had different options available in front of me. But then when Aberdeen was presented in front of me, I was like, playing against Aberdeen, you see the support. They were in Europe at the time, playing the European group stages. And I was like, I want to play for this football club. I want to go there, because if you win there and you do well, it's incredible. And I remember the conversations with Jimmy. He said to me, I think there's something special going on in this club. You need to come and be part of it. I want you to be my main goalkeeper, and you're going to help me win. And when the conversations were happening, then he said to me, do you want us to bring the goalkeeping coach with you? And I was over the moon. I was like, yes, absolutely. I want Hinchy with me, because obviously looking at, because the season I had the St Johnstone, then obviously we replicated that my first season in Aberdeen, and everything was just, when you walk in a path and everything was just perfect. There was no bumps into the road. There was just amazing experience, and having Hinchy with me, because he really understand what I needed as a goalkeeper. He really understand how to train me, when to tell me I was good, when to tell me I was bad, because there was days that he told me, listen, you need to be better. And that was the perfect relationship I had with him, and we had an amazing 3 years together.
So Hinchy was he's only at Aberdeen because it's a 2-for-1 offer.
I mean, no, I think, yeah. I mean, I think the club was actually speaking to him originally, and when obviously my transfer happened, and it would just make so much sense for him to come as well. And I was over the moon, because, going to a new club with the goalie coach I had before, it was just very easy to settle, and again, but going to Aberdeen, I knew most of the players. Playing against them, it was a very easy adaptation. And I remember my first day, met Shinny. Oh, he said to me, give me a big hug, and said, welcome to football club, and well, let's have a blast. And honestly, what a guy. I have never met a better person in football than him.
Just in terms of what his character, in terms of his playing style, was it just the complete package?
Oh, everything. You're talking about Jimmy? Sorry.
No, I think Shinny, you were talking about there. Was it Shinny?
Sorry. Oh, Shinny, for me, he's the most underrated player in a long, I think the guy. So I'm gonna tell you one thing about Shinny, right? I would have run through a brick wall for him, because he was the best captain in the football club, and also he was the player that gave everything. So one thing about Shinny, right? It's he will never ask you to do something that he wasn't willing to do. He was a great example for all of us, and he actually showed us what it meant to play for this football club, because he demanded that every single day in training. He demanded that in games, and everybody had such a huge respect for him, because after games, when he has a goal at us, when he told us we were crap, nobody said anything back to him, because we had so much respect for him. And I'm pretty sure you ask 99% of the team what they think of Shinny, they'll tell you exactly the same. And he was the one we followed. He was the one we wanted to win for him. The cup final, I've said that on Sky after the game, I was more happy that he lifted the trophy than I won the trophy. I was just so made up for him, because he sacrificed so much for this football club. He's given so much back to this football club, and that was the moment for him. And I just saw in his eyes, that was for him. He's made it. Winning Scottish Cup with Aberdeen is something that he always dreamed for, and he wasn't scared to say it publicly. He said that was just one of his biggest dreams, and when it happened, I was just so made up for him, because he was our leader, he was our captain, and like I said, me personally, I was gonna run through a brick wall for him. And till this day, I speak to him, and I was extremely sad when he left, because I felt like we lost the heartbeat of the team. We lost the guy that just kept everybody together. In the change room, a lot of foreign guys, a lot of different nationalities, but he was the one that glued everybody together, because he was able to go and play golf with some of the guys, then play PlayStation with others, then play darts, It was just amazing, and we lost a big character and a big person in the team when he left.
Yeah, just how hard is it for teams to replace someone? There's obviously loads of different examples through the years, but how hard is it for a team to replace someone like that?
Very, very, very difficult, and I think we haven't. The replacing Shinny is almost impossible, because, like I said, he was just the glue for everything he did. Any new player that came into the team and he had any problems, regarding of finding a place, getting a car, whatever your personal problem, you go to Shinny, and Shinny helped. And he never said no to anyone. He always trying to find the best way to help. When somebody was slow, he was the first one there to pick him up. When somebody needed kicking the ass, he was the first one to be there. And he was just incredible. And also, Shinny was never injured. He was always available. And maybe he didn't have the best game sometimes, but he gave 100% for this football club. And that's an example we always had to follow. That was the standard he set. Maybe we're not going to be at our best technically because it happens. But as long as you give 100% for this football club, that was bare minimum he required from everyone.
And talking about 100% and whatever, looking for the best. I mean, the start you made at Aberdeen, the team made with the long unbeaten run.
Yeah.
Talk me through what was that spell like?
It was crazy. You go into game knowing you were gonna win. It's a feeling that you just can't describe, because I remember the Rangers game at home, because we were like, I don't know, eight wins in a row at the time, 7. I can't remember what it was, and you just felt like doing the warm up, going to the game, thinking there's no way we can lose, especially at Pittodrie. Just no way. Like the way we were. So I think some games we were actually really bad, but we end up winning, and that's actually a very good trait to have as a team, and just everything was going well for us. And then came the flip side. We couldn't win in the 14. It's the craziest season I've ever had in my career. Going from, I feel like, being one of the best teams in the league, then being one of probably the worst teams in the league in the same season. It's crazy to look at it. And if you ask me where the turning point was and what changed, I don't know. It just, I don't know. It just happened. I have no idea, because obviously we had injuries here and there. Main players missing. I had few injuries myself. It's just we lost the rhythm, and as soon as you lost the rhythm, it's very, very difficult in this league to gain the momentum back.
But then all of that, of course, was forgotten about, wasn't it?
Yeah, I actually saw a stat that the first 14 games, the points we've won were enough to finish in top 6, which is bonkers. Like I can't. We had an opportunity to finish much higher than what we did, but then if you told us we do that and then win Scottish Cup, we would have taken that. So in the end, it worked out pretty well.
What was it like, Demi, in the early run? Because as you said, there was some games maybe you could have lost. I mean, there was a couple of penalty saves in there as well that swung it Aberdeen's way.
It's the perfect example. The Ross County game. I did for Ross County away. I thought like we were not nowhere near good enough. We were just a little bit in between. Nothing was going for us, and obviously saving the penalty and then Nisi scoring in the 90th minute. And you winning that game 1-0 and thinking, oof, if we can do that for most of the parts of the season, we're going to be well. Because you always want to win at home. And then if you drew away or win away, you're doing incredible. And yeah, I feel like I had a lot of moments in that season where I've kept the team in the game, and then we nicked a 1-0 or 2-1 or something like this. So it was definitely nice. But then obviously when the table flipped, it's a very difficult position to be, because our fans demand a lot for us. There's a lot of pressure playing for Aberdeen, and you have to perform. And but in the end, I was so happy that we managed to give them something that they're gonna celebrate for years. And a lot of people to this day tell me it's the happiest day of their life. So it's amazing.
Just going back to the run, right? Obviously, when you had the unbeaten run, you were 2-0 down against Celtic and come back and get the draw on that. You were in really good form. Was it a bit of you thinking, can we go the distance here? Have we got the chance of putting a title fight together?
You obviously, Jimmy was very good trying to take a game at a time. Yourself, he was amazing on the press as well. He's just cold face, like no emotions, and he was trying to keep us grounded. We really did try to take it one game at a time, but sometimes when you get into this incredible run of 14, you start to dream a little bit. It's okay, it's normal. You start to maybe looking ahead of yourself, but Jimmy was very good at it. He trying to keep us grounded. And obviously that game against Celtic, we were losing 2-0 at halftime, but then you're thinking, because of the way we played, we were very expansive. We were creating a lot of chances. We knew that we can get. It's crazy to say at Celtic Park away, 2-0 down at halftime, that you can get back, because. And then I remember Jamie McGrath played this incredible pass to Esther, and he put him 1v1 with the keeper, and he managed to score. And then Sheeny scored the deflection. And then in the 93rd minute, I'm making a save. Then Duke clears off the line.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It was, but that shows how together we were and how much we were fighting, And when we walked out of the game, 2-2 at Celtic Park, and that was our first time we dropped points, both teams, in the season. Then we thought, well, we've got a big chance here, not to win the league, but we've got a big chance to be minimum top 3 here, minimum, because at the time I think we were 9 points of Rangers, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So we created a gap. We, let's say, we could afford to lose maybe a game or two, but then obviously the schedule became tougher. In Scotland, what it's like, it's very, very difficult, very, very hard to be consistent, and we fell off a little bit, but that's fine. That happens in football. We just couldn't keep the consistency going.
Yeah, what was the feeling in the camp? Because obviously the last league game of the season was that Dundee United game where there was a few scenes after the game that weren't great. But I guess, because before the cup final was the next game. But what was the feeling after that game? Because like you said, you'd slided down the table quite a lot at that time.
Yeah, because so honestly, when we secured the top 6, we knew we mathematically in the top 6. It was all about the cup final. I feel like, I can't remember, correcting me if I'm wrong, I don't think we could have made 4th to play Europe. Could have we? I can't remember. So the whole I can't remember. So the whole focus was we had to win the final, and because we knew that was the last year of you winning the final guarantees group stages. So, and obviously everybody was looking, the past when we played Celtic, the results, the semi-final. Then we played them 10 days before the final. We played them at Pittodrie. We lost 5-1, I think it was. But then it was funny because I felt like, although we conceded a lot against Celtic, we always had opportunities. It's not like we were completely blown out the side. I always felt like we could create against them. And obviously, the manager came with the idea to play back 5. We didn't play back 5 all season. And then the week leading to the final, we trained all week because we wanted to deny spaces for Maeda. I felt like if we stopped Maeda and St Johnstone, they were doing a lot of half space runs between the lines. And I felt like if we had another centre-back covering the space, we limited them. And we had to frustrate them. That's why I feel like the plan was perfect. We had to start with Pape and Shady on the bench, stay in the game as long as you can, and bring him on like 60th, 70th minute and go for it. And whatever happens, happens. And it was actually a very boring final, right? 2 own goals, not much happening. Yeah, but in the end, it worked out.
What were your thoughts going into? I mean, you obviously lost that last game at Dundee United. You're going into the Celtic game because pretty much everyone outside of Pittodrie had probably written the team off. But I mean, the manager changed the formation. We had Peter on last week, and he said they actually looked at Inter Milan videos, and from that they then went for the plan for Hampden. Did they show you some of the Inter Milan videos and different things to formations and tweets and tactics?
Yeah, we did watch a little bit of Inter Milan. Obviously, show us how to defend the half space runs, like I said, because Celtic were amazing, the best, because they do a half space run, they cut back, and having another centre back on the pitch just helps you so much to defend the box. And because Celtic commit so many bodies forward, we knew that if we just stay in the game and we hit them on a counter, we will end up scoring. And I think we did have a few chances with Dante. I think obviously the Bat had a chance as well, if I'm not mistaken. And obviously Shady does what Shady is very good at. You give him the ball 1v1 and you know the ball is coming to the box. How is he going to do it? You don't know, but the ball is coming. But I think for me, while actually going a little bit back to the 5-1 game at Pittodrie, if you remember, there was a 50-50 challenge, Pape against Hatate, and Hatate came off injured. I think that was blessing for us. Not having, because Hatate that season, in my opinion, was one of the best players in the league. And obviously it's not nice to see a player going off injured, of course, but on our benefit, not having Hatate playing on a final it was huge for us because he was one of their best players. And they struggled. They didn't know how to break us down. They didn't have him because he was very, very good finding balls between the lines. And we just had to stay in the game. And we did that, and what happened,
Yeah, just talk to us about that feeling. Like you say, the game plan was to stay in the game, and then Shaden puts that cross in the box and somehow it goes in. What was your feelings at that very moment?
Usually, me guys, when we score, I go crazy, right? I will go celebrate with the fans. But that day, I didn't, because I thought, they're coming now. We need to stay. Like, it's only 1-1. I can't remember, 75th minute that we scored or something. I can't remember. And I'm thinking there's another 15 minutes plus potential added extra time. So I'm thinking, no, I'm going back to my goal. I'm staying calm. I'm not getting too ahead of myself. And but the boys were amazing. Looking it back, I don't think they had actually that many chances. I don't think I've made that many saves in the game. They hit the post and the bar once or twice, but that's normal. And I think there was not many clear-cut chances, to open us up, because defensively we were just amazing that day, amazing. And leading to obviously the final, the talking point, everybody says the penalties, right? But for me, the talking point should be that Maeda chance in the end.
I did the save.
Yeah.
I think for me that's by far my most important save in my career. Nothing even comes close to that save, because when he came 1v1 with me in that moment, everything just froze. Everything just became really slow. It's crazy to say now, because I still get goosebumps now saying it. That was the moment for me, and when I managed to make that save, I knew we were winning it. The confidence I had in myself after that save, because when that save happening, you just look to your teammates. They looked at me and they know we got someone at the back that's gonna save us. It's crazy to say this. It's crazy to explain it with words, but I just saw a belief in my teammates, and I thought, I can't let them down here. I need to be there for them, And yeah, the rest is history.
In terms of, obviously, it went to penalties, Demi. Did you have a list on your water bottle of where they were going? Did you look at the videos prior to it? You and Hinch, you do your homework?
It's actually crazy. There's a video of me. I've rewatched the final only once. And actually a video when, if you remember, there was in 120th minute, there was a deflection cross, and I come and got it, went on the ground. And when I went on the ground, I was talking to myself, because I knew it was going to penalty. It was done. So I was talking to myself. I was saying, this is my moment. Now go and be a hero. It's actually, you can replay it. It's crazy. I know. You need to go back and see it. And I walked back, and Hinchy told me, this is your time. You're made for this. And I've always done penalty. This is how it worked for me. I always made a decision where I'm going to go for the penalty before the penalty is taken. So say, for example, we have a game. I would say I'm going keeper's right, and I will not change regardless, because I'll watch him. And Hinchy, actually, for the first penalty, it's all him. And I'll tell you why. We watched Callum McGregor. We knew he was going to take the first penalty, because I think he's their best player. I think he's by far the best player in the league. Everything the Celtic ticks is because of him. So you're thinking, if you save his penalty, their captain, their leader, it's very difficult for them to come back. So we watched him. Every time he takes a penalty in the league, Europe or whatever, he always gone keepers left. But every time there's a penalty shootout in the final, he's gone keepers right. And Hinchy saw this, and he told me, you need to go keepers right. And I was like, I trust you. Okay. And that's why when I saved it, I went up, I pointed. I was pointing at him, because he's the one that made the decision to go keepers right, and I trusted him. Oh, if he went keepers left and he scored, I want to say, yeah. Yes. So the first penalty is all on him. Nothing to do with me. It was him, because he saw this pattern of Conor McGregor doing that, and thankfully he saved. I was actually really disappointed that I didn't manage to save Maeda's penalty.
Oh yeah.
Because again, we watched him. He always goes down the middle with pace. He actually went through my hands, which is I was so disappointed. And I always said to myself, you better save the next one, because that wasn't great, But I was so calm. Honestly, it's the most calm I think I've ever been in my life. And it's crazy. It's very easy for me to say now, because we've won it, but I was so confident that we're winning it. Because obviously we did penalties the day before, and the boys put everything top corner. And I went in the right way of every single penalty, but I couldn't save it. And And then going to the final, I just knew if I save one, the boys will score. And as soon as I saved the first one, in my head, I knew it was a wrap. It was finished,
Yeah, you'll do very well to find 4 better penalties than the Aberdeen players that stepped up that day.
I know. And Daba was the best penalty taker. Honestly, this guy will just run to the ball, hit as hard as he can, and always goes the same corner. he always used to say to me, Dimi, I'm going to go to the right, just trying to save it. And I was going super early, and I still wasn't even near to the penalty. I'm thinking, oh. And obviously Ante, Shini's penalty as well. It was. I don't even know who was meant to be fifth. I have no idea who was meant to be fifth. And
Canister, wasn't it?
I think it was Mats. I think,
Dutch people don't miss penalties anyway, so I've never missed that. And obviously with St Johnston's penalty, when you save it, and I went very early on the penalty, and I genuinely thought I went over the line, with your foot, and I was panicking. It's the worst 5 seconds of my life. When the ref was doing the VAR check, you see the boys running, and you're thinking, oh no, this is not good, because I genuinely thought I stepped over the line, but then when you watch back, I was nowhere near stepping over the line, and the emotions. It's not even emotions. It was relief. It was like you had such a big pressure, such a big mountain on your shoulder, and as soon as that moment happened, everything just went. It was the scenes, the celebrations. There's no words, and I always feel like if I can pack these emotions and stuck them away somewhere, and here and there you open it to feel it again, it is the best feeling in the world. I always say the happiest moment of my career is playing for my country, but that moment, it's incredible.
How important was it that day as well? The fact is that it was a 50-50 split. Because it's very difficult when you play Rangers or Celtic at Hampden, but there was a massive Aberdeen support there, and that seemed to play a big part in getting the team over the line as well.
Incredible. 25,000 people coming to support us. But it was no doubt. We all knew they're going to sell out. There was the support this football club has it surprises a lot of people. I think new players coming into the team and going to the first game, Dundee game a few weeks ago, sell out 4,000 people into Dundee. It's incredible. Honestly, the traveling support we've had and at Pittodrie as well, it's you cannot blame the people, because they've always been there. They're always supported the team in a good and a bad moments, and they deserved it. And for us to be the group of players to manage to give them that, it's incredible, because I've seen that day grown people cry. Grown people cry. And that this team was the reason for these players for these fans to be so happy, and I'm so happy that we managed to give them that, because they sacrifice so much themselves, because there's people out there who honestly their life is working Monday to Friday just to come to watch the team on Saturday. And to be able to give them that, it's honestly it's incredible, because I hope the next trophy is not that long of a wait, for the team. I really hope they manage to do that soon, very soon, because you see how much it means to this football club. This football club is built to be up there, and I really hope they can replicate something like this very, very soon.
What were the celebrations like, Demi, on the pitch and then in the dressing room?
Incredible. Wow, where do I start? I don't think I slept for 3 days, first and foremost. We had a free license to drink as much as you can, And no, honestly, it's especially in a change room. We had a dance. I don't know if you guys are aware of. Every time after win, we had this crazy Dutch song coming on, and we had a dance. It's mental. I don't know where that comes from. So we had that. Then we made a line or two in the Hampden change room, and we had Tom Ritchie, the young goalkeeper. We sprayed the floor with champagne, and we made it slide all the way. It was the scenes were incredible. And then obviously when Dave came in, the owner, the celebrations, the pictures, the moments. I actually tell you a funny story. Obviously, all the celebration going back to Pittodrie is incredible. Fans waiting for us. But what really touched me was the next day, obviously, we had to go to Pittodrie to go on the bus, to go to the parade. And obviously, we had a few drinks. I couldn't drive and stuff. And obviously, I had to get a taxi to Pittodrie. And I go on a taxi, and I was speaking to the guy, obviously, big Aberdeen fan. And he dropped me at the stadium. And obviously, I went to pay. He said, no, my friend, you will never, ever have to pay for anything in Aberdeen. You don't realize what you've done to the city. And for me, of everything. Just this person, if he's watching this, it's he made my day. He said something that's gonna stay in me for the rest of my life, because this guy said to me, "What you've given to this city will never be forgotten." And he actually didn't allow me to pay, so I had a free drive to Pittodrie, which was great. And I'm very thankful for that, obviously.
And yeah, then the parade itself was quite a sight to see, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I said this. I don't usually tweet, but tweeted I thought the game was the best day of my life. But that parade, mamma mia! Well, obviously we heard stories about the League Cup, but that was different. Scottish Cup is bigger than the League Cup, and that was different. And when we walked into the Union Square and got on a bus to go start doing that, and I actually didn't even knew there were that many people in Aberdeen. It was like a beautiful sunny day. You see just a sea of red fans. It was incredible, and being able to be there, and I still get messages to do the I must have got hundreds of messages when it got announced that I left, and so many people and sending me pictures of their days, where they've been at. Everybody's talking where he was when it happened, where it's just incredible. I've still got the videos on my phone. I've got a few pictures that are framed. I've sent back to Bulgaria for my house. Their memories, they will stay for the rest of your life, and it's something that only big clubs happen. And if you're not a big football club, you'll never experience like this, and that's what Aberdeen is all about. And we so basically they showed us what can happen if you win at this football club, and for us to be able to experience it, it's incredible.
You said you obviously seen the emotions of the fans. You've seen fans crying, different things. See, in the months since, is there one story that sort of stands out for you? You've just speaking to the fans about that day or that one.
There's a lot of stories, just looking at everybody. Obviously we were in town, celebrating with the fans on night. Different bars, different restaurants. Just everybody's buying you drinks. Everybody's, it's just speaking to everybody. But for me, what I would take the most out of it, how much it meant to them. I actually understood what it means for a supporter to see their team win, to see their team win a trophy. And for me, that was the most special thing about. Forget about me winning and me lifting the trophy. For me, it's understanding what it meant to them, and made me feel we need to give more. We need to be better for this football, because for these people, this is their life, And I was always, when I got stopped with supporters, in the city with my family, or when people ask me for autographs or pictures, I've never said no, because I always looked at it that way. For me, it's 5 minutes of my life, but for them, that's memories for the rest of their lives. And that's why I always tried after games, before games, trying to take as many pictures as I can, sign as many autographs, because for them, we are their heroes, And I know if I meet my hero, how excited I would have been. And being able to give that happiness to people, it was always my number one priority. I always wanted to make people happy. And like I said, just giving 5 minutes of my time meant everything for them. And yeah, I was really glad to be able to put so many smile on their faces as much as I can.
With that reward, obviously the big prize, there was another reward you got. You were guaranteed European football the next season.
Yeah.
That was a big thing for you.
Really big. And but that's one of the reasons I wanted to go to this football club. I wanted to play in Europe. I wanted to test, because European football and Scottish football is day and night. It's so different. And I always felt like in UK in general, people had this, no agenda, but they always had this arrogance, saying anything outside UK is bad. The teams are not great. And I remember looking at the draw we got, and I thought, Mamma mia, how are we going to get through that? It is going to be it's so difficult. People don't realize the level of opponents we actually played against. I remember that Aya game, for example. I remember just speaking to, watching reaction. People say, "Oh, we can get something, this and that." I'm thinking, if we go to Ike and we get something, we've done very, very well, because the quality of they had a player that played for Real Madrid 4 or 5 years ago. They paid 60 million for him. I mean, that's incredible to be in that team, you know. And I remember going there. That honestly, I think that's the most difficult game I've played in my entire life, because that could have been double figures, and I'm not even joking. They conceded 6. I think they hit the bar 5 times. We cleared off the line, I think, 2 times, and I've made a couple saves. I mean, it's really bad to lose 6-0, but I'm thinking that could have been way more than 6-0. They just showed us what football is. You know, it was the most difficult game I've ever played in my life, for sure. And I remember going home, and I'm thinking, then we had Strasbourg at home, and then obviously we played Shakhtar Donetsk, and then we had Noah. Against Noah, we could have won that game,
Yeah.
for sure. We could have won that game. We'd end up during 1-1, you know, we could have won that game. But the rest of the games were the level of the opponents, most of them international players playing in the highest level possible. It was so. We actually got in Conference League. I felt like we got Europa League opponents, you know,
Yeah.
and we saw. Well, obviously, when the group stages finish, I think 4 of them teams went to the last last 8 or
Or
something.
for quarterfinals, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it shows you the level we were playing against, and I feel like we were not ready to compete against teams like this. We were not ready, you know. I felt like they were just a level above us, you know. But it was a great experience, something that we learned of, for sure. Could we have done better? 100% we could have done better, but it was very, very difficult for us to get results there.
Yeah, just on those games, if you had to pick one, obviously you played in quite a few big stadiums in those away European games. Is there one that you particularly found most hostile or most enjoyable to play? Not enjoyable, but certainly hostile anyway.
Is the Ike game, right? I mean, not enjoyable because of the result. Not enjoyable, but the Ike game, it was going to experience, because Ike actually won the league that season, and they're playing Champions League now. So it shows you and I think they actually had a ban from their fans for doing I think they were doing some bad things, and they got banned, so they didn't have a full stadium in. But I do have to say the traveling support in European games was wow. I remember Larnaca, Cyprus, incredible atmosphere. The the Greece game. When we went to Romania, it was top from our traveling supporters. And my only regret from the European game is that we didn't give them a win to celebrate. You know, we didn't give them something to be happy about, because if you ask supporters, they will be very disappointed that we didn't win. And me as a player coming off from the European adventure, it was that we didn't able to give them a win. For me, that was the most, like, I was disappointed in myself that we didn't manage to give them that.
Obviously, that season, Demi, was quite difficult. It was a slow start in the league, and then you had the nightmare draw, as you say, in Europe.
Yeah.
There was the manager made a lot of changes, there was a lot of investment, a lot of new players came in, but it didn't really click, did it? And
No.
unfortunately, Jimmy lost his job,
Yeah.
which nobody wanted to see him in, especially after delivering a cup. And he was a great guy and obviously a top coach. What was it like that time?
I think we made too many unnecessary changes. We completely changed the team, in my opinion. When you have a successful team, you just have to build around that team, in my opinion. I mean, we brought high quality players, no doubt about it. But then playing in Scotland and playing in Europe is 2 different things, right? And you've got to understand how difficult the Scottish league is. You don't get time in Scotland, and people didn't realize that. And I actually saw some of you guys, I think, reported as saying in the first 42 games of that season, we didn't have the same back four. So me as a goalkeeper, when the team changes consistently, it's so hard. It's so difficult to get a moment. I think it was only me and Mats that were playing consistently till Mats got injured. And it's so hard to build a relationship and consistency around the team when the team is being changed every week. I think a goalkeeper and the back four, you don't change as long as they perform. I mean, of course, if there was mistakes, bad results, but you don't change them every week. Maybe you can change the front areas, but we were looking at area where we thought there was a problem, but there wasn't a problem. And then we start creating problems, if that makes sense, you know? And I think there was something in the first 6 games we didn't score a goal. How are we supposed to win a game when we don't score goals? It's impossible to defend, because I always look at it as a defensive point aside. If a team attacks 15 times against you and pull the ball in the box 15 times. You would deal with it 14 times, being perfect. But the one time you lose a guy, something, of course, it will happen. And you concede and lose 1-0. And what chance are you giving yourself to win the game when you don't score goals? It's very, very difficult, you know? And I just thought, like, yeah, in my opinion, listen, this is my opinion, right? We made too many changes. And that's why I think disturbed the team a little bit. But I guess it's not my place to say what went wrong and what went right. It's just my opinion.
But it must have been difficult then to see Jimmy leave, though, wasn't it? I suppose,
Very.
because after the high of the previous season.
I love them. I absolutely, I cannot speak highly enough of the guy, because his ideas and the way he wanted to play football, it was top. He gave us always the best possible informations in meetings, training sessions, the way we got set up and everything. Everybody knew what they support, what's required from them, right? But for some reason, it wasn't working in the second season. It just didn't work out. Whatever, that individual was not performing to their best, and I did felt really bad for him, because ultimately we are responsible for him getting the sacked. And I actually sent him a really nice message, because I felt are all responsible for him getting the sacked, because me as the goalkeeper, I was the one conceding the goal, so all the pressure was on me. And I was always okay with it, because I felt like I was that type of character in the change room, in the team, where I was happy for me to take the pressure. I was happy for me to get the criticism, you know, for the team not performing, because I wanted to help my team, to give them the confidence where they can go and free themselves and let the pressure land on my shoulders, you know. And when obviously Jimmy got sacked, I was really disappointed in myself, and I was really disappointed that we let him down, because I'm pretty sure he was gonna get another job soon, and he's gonna hit the highs again, because he's a top manager, and his man management, it was top. You know, he was very good to me. He always give you a confidence. He always saw the problem in you where you could have been better, but he explained it to you in the right way. He always wanted to raise your standards, and first and foremost, he wanted us to be human beings. You know, just a simple manners, like walking in, saying hello to the people at the reception, talking to the cleaners, talking to the chefs, people behind the scenes where they do so much work, and nobody talks about them. And for him, that was a number one priority: be nice to people. And he tried to create that winning mentality, that unbelievable culture at the football club. And sometimes wasn't meant to be, but I think whatever he goes next, he'll be successful.
And it was a difficult few months after that as well, wasn't it? There was obviously a lot of players came in the transfer window, came in and out towards the end of that month, and then obviously the Scottish Cup game at Dunfermline, that was a real low point for everyone. Wasn't
it? It's the lowest I've been in my career is the Dunfermline game. I could not think of anything else that's gonna be as bad as this. That was just, we had an unbelievable opportunity to go to another semi-final, right? Because of the draw and everything that was coming next. We just had to go there and win the game. And we were just, what can I say? We have been too, we were terrible that day. We were just nowhere near it. From the goalkeeper to the striker, everyone was just nowhere near the level that's required to play for this football club, and we paid the price for it. And that was the moment in the club where everything was just going wrong. Like, we could have been, and I actually felt really sorry for Pete as well, because again, the way he wanted to play football was so right, and his ideas was so, it just fit, but it just took over the wrong time. Like, the team wasn't going well. There was a lot of pressure on us, and in the end, he was the one that paid the price as well. And us, the players, we were still there, but we lost another good guy, you know. And it's our fault that happened again. It's no one else's fault. But again, like you said, another turnover in January, another. It's crazy how many players have come into the team from that summer to the January, even this transfer window. I think if you look at the first game of the season against Hearts last season, and this game of the season, there was completely different 11. And I've never seen a turnover of players in the team as much as this. And it's so difficult to build the momentum, to build a consistency. And I think now even for Stephen Robertson, is the same thing. That's a new team for him. That's his team. And I really hope he's given the time. because he's a proven manager at this level, and I think this is what the football club needs. And I really hope that he will be a successful. There'll be a successful period for him in this football club, because I've seen it with my own eyes how he wants to do things, and that's the right things. He just needs time. But in football, as we know, it's a game of results, and if you don't perform well, especially in Aberdeen, you pay the price.
Obviously, Stephen came in at a difficult time. I had to keep the team up. But, I mean, you yourself as well, you put yourself in the front line as well, because you were struggling with a groin injury, weren't you? Which needed surgery.
I was.
But you wanted to play until you got safe.
Yeah, so obviously I had that conversation with him. In the first game, I think it was St Mirren away, I can't remember. He obviously pulled me and he said, I want to show you respect. I'm going to play PK. And I said, listen, boss, no problem. This is your decision. We've already had conversation about it. I've got no problem with this, right? So obviously the game against St Mirren happened. And then in my head, I was thinking, okay, I'm out of the team. I'm going to go get my surgery done. I was speaking to the doctors because I was really struggling. I was barely training. I was on a lot of tablets, on painkillers. I wasn't right. I was really struggling to perform. I couldn't kick the ball. It was a difficult moment for me. And yeah, I was sorting to get a surgery as soon as possible. And we were talking to the doctors in London. But then obviously football changes very quickly, right? And obviously, again, performances weren't doing great. And he pulled me to his office and he asked me, do you accept apology? And for me, this is why I wanted to play for him. This is why I think he's an unbelievable man management, because he doesn't have to apologize to me, right? He doesn't have to do that because he's the manager. He's getting paid to make decisions. And I had no problem with these decisions. But for him to say that to me, that showed so much respect. And I couldn't let the guy down. I just couldn't. And he said to me, play for me till we're safe and go get your surgery afterwards. And when it comes to the summer, I'll do everything I can to give you the best deal possible. And I wanted to do that for him, and I wanted to do that for the fans, because the fans, I couldn't leave that football club knowing that we went to the playoffs. And obviously I said, okay, I'm going to delay my surgery. And I think I played 7 games, which I kept 5 or 6 clean sheets, something like this. We went in this run, we stayed safe. And I did feel like I played a big part of it, especially the game against Kilmarnock at home, which I felt like was the pivotal of the season. We need to make a point that we should never be where we are, but we had to get out of that situation. And winning the game against Kilmarnock at 1-0 and making that save into the post, where I think it's very underrated save in my opinion. I think it was a big save at the time, in the situation we were. And when we are safe, obviously I went and had my surgery, and I was out I missed the first 2 weeks of preseason. I was out for a long time, and when I had the surgery, the doctor said to me, your injury is much bigger than we originally thought, because I kept playing because it became worse and worse, and actually affected my rehab time, because I was meant to be back only for 4 weeks, but ended up being 12 weeks because of me delaying the surgery, And I had numerous conversations with Stephen Robertson over the summer. And listen, like I said, I cannot speak highly enough, and how he treated me and how he dealt with my situation. It's something I can use an example. If a lot of managers can do that, it's top. It's very, very good.
Demi, that's brilliant. That's been a great interview. Can we just put you on the spot now? It's not quite at Hampden facing Callum McGregor and Alistair Johnson, but we've got some questions from social media for you. So can we give you some of them at you?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, yeah, I've got a few here. So one from Wandering Scotty. He's actually got 2 questions.
Go on.
First one is, if you had to play outfield, what position would you play in? And
Right.
if you had to pick an outfield player to play in goal, I don't know if he means in the Aberdeen squad or whoever, but who would you pick?
Right, okay, so funny story, I was actually a striker as a kid. Because I wanted the easiest position, let's put it that way, because you can just wander about for 90 minutes, just put it in the net, you're the hero, right? I was chasing the glory, I was chasing the headlines like everybody else. But then I quickly realized that goalkeeping is the most responsible position on the football pitch. And I'm a responsible player. So, and obviously, my dad is a goalkeeper, never made a professional. And it was very easy because at the time in my team, we didn't have a goalie coach. We didn't have anything. And I was always the tallest in my team. And no idea how, I just got shifted back in goal, right? No idea how. And my dad was training me, and I just loved it. I just love the 9 people's happiness. You know, when somebody shoots and makes a save and they're in disbelief, that's what I liked. You know, and that's why I became a goalkeeper. So, and what was the second one? If I can choose one out.
If you had to pick an outfield player, I guess from one of your Aberdeen teammates, who'd been a good goalie?
I would have been Toppy, I think. Toppy was a crazy guy, right? Do you know why I would have put Toppy? Because I know Toppy wouldn't be scared of the ball. You know, to get hit in the face. Toppy wouldn't be scared. So I would have picked Toppy for sure.
Yeah. Kieran Hutchins also asks, I think we kind of covered this a little bit earlier, but Jimmy did an interview last season where he said the players were getting everything they needed from the coaching staff under Jimmy Thelin, but we're letting them down with the performances on the pitch. Just why do you think they weren't able to turn it around for him? I know we kind of spoke about it already. But.
Yeah, like I said, I just think people individually not performing to their best probably is the main thing. I mean, sometimes it's also doing the dirty side in Scottish football, tracking runners, running back, doing the dirty stuff that nobody sees. And when you sign high quality technical players, they don't want to do that, and you can carry maybe 1 passenger in the team, but you can't carry 2, 3, 4 passengers in the team. And when somebody doesn't want to defend, it's very, very difficult to win games, especially in this football team, because if you don't have the quality to score enough goals, then you're in trouble. And we didn't have that at the time, so probably that.
And again, we spoke about this at length, but the $1 million question, what was going through your head before you saved Alistair Johnston's penalty?
To be honest, nothing. Just like I said earlier, I knew what side I was going to go. Obviously, when you see Alistair Johnston walking in, so I'm thinking, okay, I'm going right. I knew that before he put the ball down in the penalty spot. It was just honestly, I was so calm. There was nothing, there was no emotions. I wasn't feeling nervous. I wasn't feeling excited. I was just present in the moment. And obviously, when you save it, the 5 seconds, you're nervous a little bit. And then after that, it just goes, relax, you've won it. Go and celebrate.
Yeah. And again, you touched on it yourself that Sammy Cosgrove Ballon d'Or asks, are you aware you'll never have to buy another drink in Aberdeen again?
Yeah, so hey, if one day I come back, I'm gonna hold these guys into it, So one day if I come back, I'm gonna be asking for free drinks.
I just wanted to ask myself, personally as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the clip yesterday of Marius Moore trying to have Rabona pass from inside the 6-yard box.
There we go. It's inside of this. He told me that on the 3rd day, that was his party trick, and he can boom it with Rabona. He can take a goal kick with the Rabona go to the halfway.
Oh, wow.
It's incredible. Cool. He did it in training once. He shown it to me because we were just like, in the end, we're messing about kicking balls. And he showed me, look at my party trick. And he just took it and he went like 50 yards. I'm like, mamma mia, this is crazy. Yeah, so I'm not surprised. Yeah.
David, can I ask you just a few just quickly? Ronan Johnson, what was your favourite game aside from the cup final? Maybe a random league game that really stood out for you?
Yeah, Rangers home. Rangers home for sure. It was
the midweek one, the win.
Yeah, the one we won 2-1.
Yeah.
Shady Moore, Nicky Devlin.
Yeah.
Nicky Devlin. Yeah, Nicky Devlin. Well, by the way, prime Nicky Devlin over there, scoring so many goals, huh? No, that for sure, that game, because first we know about Aberdeen Rangers, how much it means to the football club when you beat Rangers, and obviously I remember how much was at stake at this time because of the room we were, and if we would have won that game, it's 9 points clear, right?
Yeah.
So for me, obviously walking out packed stadium, the atmosphere they created, the everything about it, that game was just incredible. So for me, that's my favorite game yet.
Martin Fruston asks, what was one thing as a goalkeeper that is that most people think is easy but is actually difficult? What thing as a goalkeeper is?
Good question.
It's a lot. So here, I'm going to give you 2 answers, okay? So goalkeeping is a position about being. So as a goalkeeper, you need to be close to perfection as possible, because if you're not perfect, you will cost your team. And there's nothing worse than costing your team. Nothing. And I think the most overrated things in general is probably coming for crosses, because ultimately because you can use your hands, any ball in a box, it's your ball. It's not. Because as you can watch this day and age, Arsenal just find a way to take the goalkeeper out of the game. And goalkeeper is the easiest position to block. What I mean by that is because you only have to focus on the ball. But when they're assigned a guy that his solely job is for you not to come for the ball, it becomes very, very difficult because I cannot use my hands to wrestle with him because I need my hands free to potentially come for it or make a save. And just because he comes into the air, you have to consider pace of the ball, how many bodies you have to go through. Are you punching? Are you catching? So many decisions you have to make in a split second. And if you got it wrong, it's a goal, and I think that's probably one of the most difficult things you can do, especially in the league like in UK, because as a goalkeeper you get everything on top of you basically. So yeah, I would say that for sure.
Okay, Lee Seymour, we've gone around this, but how badly did you feel about the European adventure last year? You obviously couldn't give a goal to the fans. That's basically you've touched on that already. It was
yeah, very difficult. Yeah, like I said earlier, just because we couldn't manage to give him a win to celebrate, to be happy about, it's the most difficult thing for me in that campaign.
And Adam LN1 says, what was going through your head before the penalties? But we knew that, wasn't it?
Yeah, be the hero, baby, right? No, I always felt like I'm good in these moments. I've always felt like in the high pressure games, I've always done well. So for Bulgaria, for my previous teams, and yeah, just go down in the history, and it's something nobody can take away from me. I'm pretty sure people will remember me for a long, long time, and yeah, is that really.
Demi, that's brilliant. This interview has been great. I appreciate that. An insight into so many things at Aberdeen. It was a joy for us on a bit.
Yeah, I enjoyed it so much. It was great to talk to you guys once again. I've always had time talking to the media. I was always honest. I never said anything. So I was always honest to the media. So no, we had a blast, guys. We had a blast.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, thank you very much for joining us. I wish you all the best in the St Pauli this season. Fingers crossed you get the promotion to the Bundesliga. And I'm sure a few Aberdeen fans will probably pick across for a trip to watch you.
Oh, yes.
I hope all goes well. But thank you very much for your time.
Brilliant. Appreciate it, guys. Really enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us with the Dale Record In Conversation. For all the latest news, join us at dalerecord.co.uk, and for In Conversation in the following weeks, keep your eyes on our YouTube channel. Until next time, thank you very much.